Hi, I'm Adrian, and now I'll show how to make uh, a new plugin for Spidermod 0.9.1. So we'll discuss a little bit of plugin structure and how it actually works. So first you need to have Adobe Flash installed. I think the latest version CC is not doesn't have support for ActionScript 2 anymore, so you need a previous version. So to start with, you create a new Flash project with ActionScript 2.0. So let's say you also need to have the code, extracted code decompited from original Isaac. So yeah, so you know what you are actually doing. There are a lot of functions here that you can hook basically by overwriting uh, the name with your function, redirecting it. You can also call it back after. We'll have a look at this in a few minutes. What else? You can call any variable here, global, local, and change it as you want. So let's start by making a simple function like setting the player, uh, making the player invisible. So in order to do this, we'll open the actions for first frame of our plugin. And first, what you need to do is to test if game is loaded, so it runs already. To do this, there are maybe more tricks, but one that works usually. It's to test for the A clip, which is the like all action script code for the game on a room base. So when you change the room, it's actually changing reloading the clip. So let's start. We want to test this for each frame because we don't know exactly when it will happen. So to do this, we'll write on enter frame. You can also add this uh, equals to function. So because this plugin will be loaded after the game is loaded, it will actually have um, their own root, so you cannot access the game root with the root variable. But the game variables and clips will be accessible through level 0. So everything that is referring as root here will be level 0, and every local variable here is level 0.a, so it's in a clip. So let's say a player visible false. So because player is saved, the player instance is saved in a variable called local variable called player. We can access it directly. And also we need to test first is if a is actually exists actually. So if levels 0.a is not equal to undefined, set the player to invisible. Let's save this. Let's compile this. To compile is Control Enter. Okay, close this. And now, in order to run it in Spidermod, you need to create a descriptor for the plugin. So you can see like how it looks. So we have settings section, and here you can write this attributes. So let's create a new one. This will be my new plugin. .in. Open it, and let's change the settings. Path will be the SVF name, so in this case it's my new plugin .svf. So layer is the layer on which the movie clip will be applied. 0 is the actual game movie clip, and it's not recommended only in case you know what you're doing, because some things that are created dynamically may appear on top of your plugin. So let's use layer 1. Has settings is I'll talk about this later. This description describes your plugin, so this is new plugin. You can also use multi-line description, like adding a new line escape character. And the unique ID, it's used to identify your plugin. So I'll use this my new plugin as unique ID. I'll talk a bit this later. Okay, so let's save this. Launch Spidermod. Okay, so let's go to plugins and settings. You can see my new plugin here. There are all the descriptions.
Isaac and his mother lived alone in a small house on a hill. Isaac kept to himself, drawing pictures and playing with his toys.
Let's restart, and now it should be available. Let's start the game. Now you see that Isaac is invisible. Okay, so let's now try to make a hook. Close this. You can close this already. By the way, when you releasing the plugin to public, make sure to include both SVF and ini file for the plugin. Also, if you want, you may include the project file if you want to share your code, so on. Let's look for a function that we want to hook. So So maybe we want to hook the damage function that is called to calculate the damage values for different items. So in order to do this, we close this and go to Flash. And let's say if let's add our function calculate damage hook. Also make sure you have all of the same structure, so if it has parameters, you'll have the same parameters, so to not create problems when it will be called with parameters. So here let's say we want to return some big value. So in order to hook it, you can write something like this. Let's comment this out and go to level 0, A, and the function was called the DMG do. So we want to redirect this to our function. So equals calc. Okay, let's save this, compile, and start Spidermod. So now we should have a very big damage value. think you already understood how to make to access and change other things like tier mass and anything you want from the code. There are some blocks of code that are very big and like you want to change only some small thing inside them. You'll actually have to copy all the code of that function and redirect it to your function and only change that code. So yeah, that's a small problem. If you want to make it more modular, make sure to call an actual function that another plugin may override it from outside. So let's say like map generation here. Let's say this will call, for example, root dot, or it can be root. It can be a function at a level, at local level. So calculate map call calculate map call. So in your plugin you have a function pre-calculate with some other name, or it can be the same, and you'll then on when a is available you'll overwrite the level 0.a.pre-calculate map equals to your function to trigger. So when this will be called, it will actually trigger your function. So make sure to use that if you want. Next, let's say you want to still keep the same function logic, but you want to hook the function when it's called. So in order to do that, here's a simple trick. So let's say we still want to call the original damage 2, but we want to multiply our damage by 2. So we can do it like this. Create variable called damage do function. Let's initialize it. So let's say the old damage do function equals to level a damage do, and this will be our new hook. And let's say we want to call the old one, old damage do fn, but multiply it by 2. So now when either code will call damage do, it will call our function here that will call the old damage do from Isaac because we set it to point to the old function, and it will multiply the results by 2. Okay, let's try it. Also another problem here is that this will be called each frame, so it will stack a lot. So in order to avoid this, let's add a new variable to the local a movie clip to define if we actually hooked the damage do function. So let's add here another check and level 0.a is hooked. If not hooked, sorry, if not initialized yet, let's initialize it inside. So it's hooked equals true. So now it will be called one time per room load. So when it will change the room, the A will become available, and it will not have the hook initialized, and we'll set it that we already redirected the damage do function. So let's save this, compile, close, run Spidermod. So now let's cheats show damage on hit. So base Isaac damage is 3.5. So let's see what damage we have now. Let's add some pentagram. Let's see if the damage is much bigger. It's true in this case. Okay, so next let's talk about settings. So some plugins have the setting button. What this does is calls a function inside your plugin, but you can display something here or some interface that user can interact and so on. So let's do one. In order to create a plugin setting, you need to define first. You need to make sure you know the unique ID for your plugin. In this case, my new plugin. Okay, so let's copy this and let's add a function. Say function show setting, and we want this to be called when a user presses our setting button. So for this we will add a function in level 0 dot plugin settings, and here we specify our plugin ID, and we will direct it to our setting function. So let's add some visuals for it. Let's draw a box, something inside my settings. There can be buttons or any action script inside, or let's call this make player invisible. Okay, and we want it to be white text, like so. And let's convert this to a button. Convert to symbol button. Okay, so let's add some action script for it. On release root level 0 a player visible equals false. So, or we can make it switch, so not the current state. Okay, close this. Let's change the text. Change player visibility. Okay, so now we want to hide this button from the start. So let's add an instance name for our button. So let's call this my button. So here we'll set the my button visible equals false. We'll hide it, and in show settings it will unhide it. My button visible equals true. Okay, save this, compile, and we need also to specify that our plugin has settings. Okay, let's launch Spidermod. Launch the game, and now you see that our new plugin has a setting menu, and if you click it, you see this button that you can click, and player becomes invisible. If you click again, it will show up. So I guess you now have some idea of how to make your own plugins and share it with public. Our stuff So also it's possible to make a save and load plugin for the game, like in save a run and load it from batch state. In order to do that, you need to save all the global variables and restore it and teleport, for example, a player to the starting room. What else? Also make sure your setting interface will have a close button that will hide this interface when pressed. So for plugin support, the current format to save data outside mode is only txt, so only text files can be formatted. So you can save any data you want. So let's try to make such a functionality, and I'll show which function to use to save and load files, text files. So let's make a simple save load data button. So let's remove this. And for our button, let's make two buttons. Let's remove this, and I'll add one like this, and one right. Okay, so this will save and this will load. So let's convert this to button. Okay, this will be our save button. Okay, let's call this save button. Let's convert this to another button. Simple. This will doesn't matter. We call it load button. We also have a debug text output. So this here we will write the loaded data or data that you need to save. And let's say we want to set a red color, and maybe we want some background for each border. This will be input text. This will be our input box. Okay, so when we press save button, you want to save the data. So we'll take on release, we'll read our input input text, input box, sorry, box text, and we want to save it. So in order to save it, we'll use this function. So we'll specify the file name. So input text and our data. Okay, so this is for the save. Now for load, it will be inverse. So let's go to load, and on release we want to load file, and we want to display it in the input box. Okay, let's save this, compile, close, and let's start Spidermod. Okay, we see our buttons. So let's enter something here, save, and now remove this and load, and we see the text here. So the text file saved relative to Spidermod exe, so it will be like here. In this case, sorry for the mess, our input, you can see it here, as the So you can for example, you can use it to serialize flash data and load it and save it and load it, and you can make a lot of things with this. Also, you can use to debug some problems you found. So 1 second, I think you don't see it. So here is the file or input. It's relative to our main program. Here's our plugins. Okay, hope this gave you some idea on how to create your own plugins. And see you later. Bye. Enjoy the mod.